We've got a whole lot of people here. And I'm just welcoming everybody in and thanking you for your very precious time that you give up to be with us, Desi, and Rita's, her contributions also towards these complimentary live lecture series. We've done 3 on the new world's largest quantum software platform, the OMNIS, and we're going to be continuing with the series, and Desi's going to be training us in more depth, and really we'll be just finding out exactly how we should be using the software. And thanks again, Desi. And at the same time also, and very much in parallel with the software, is the Piezoelectric time crystal, which many of you have already purchased and are going to purchase. And we're just finding, you know, such an amazing overlap between the use of the OMNIS software and then in between sessions, because the time crystal keeps a sustained scale away. So it keeps the person in a potentiated quantum field. So it will potentiate also any work that one does and exposure on the OMNIS software. So, Desi, I'm very, very positive about where we're going right now and our lecture series. And many people have given great feedback in regard to wearing the time crystals and the fantastic effects it's had in warding off negative, aberrant thoughts, also forces, and also emotional clearing, very, very, very huge. Emotional stability, anchoring of people, and most importantly, making intelligent decisions and thinking clearly. So we've got a real big package here, you know, with the software and this quantum device. And Desi, I'm going to hand over to you, and let's get cracking today. Desi? Desi?
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
So what we
my cat turned off the speaker.
So what we were trying to tell you that I quit smoking altogether completely like 8 years ago, and that created a gigantic damage for my teeth.
Yeah, the smoking is really bad on her teeth. I don't know whether you heard us or not, but we just got back from the
No, I think if you wouldn't mind starting again, please.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah. Something about smoking, Rita, and everything. Rita, I think
we just got back from the dentist. She had 2 teeth pulled today in the back, and it's tragic. But I was just saying that all started from when she was a smoker as a youngster, and it creates such problems in the teeth.
Yeah, I was a smoker from age 16 or 15 till I met Desire, and that created a big problem for now, not back then. I can experience the side effects now, so I'm very happy that I'm off the cigarettes. And
I'm working on the dental program, but I'm not quite finished with that.
What the dental electroceutical for sharp pain, I highly recommend to everybody. That was now a big help for me after I came home from the dentist. Put me into sleep for at least 20 minutes very deeply, and it really took out that sharp pain. So
I've made a whole bunch of new electroceuticals, and I'll play this one now.
Dental pain. That's nice.
Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, this is one that I made for sharp dental pain. I have an abscess on my tooth, And it was about 3 weeks ago, and nothing would work. Nothing would work. But this electroceutical, I put the pendant, I put the time crystal onto the pain, and it actually got a little worse, which was interesting. But then when I started the electroceutical, the pain went completely away, and by the next morning, the abscess was almost gone. It was about the size of a dime. And then it was very, very small. You could hardly see it at all the next day. But I will be putting these electroceuticals into the new software, into the dental software. And I haven't finished with that yet. So I won't be able to lecture about that today. Okay. What I wanted to lecture about today is using the biofeedback page. Okay, where's it at?
Biofeedback page is the universal biofeedback.
Oh yes.
Not here in the program.
Oh, what's under program?
Yeah,
there you
universal biofeedback.
Right. When you go to universal biofeedback, oh well, this is the therapies. We don't want this one.
Then which one do you need?
I want the one with the biofeedback.
Oh, the biofeedback systemic relaxation then.
Right.
There, upstairs. There.
Right, there we go. This is the biofeedback systemic relaxation. This is a subtle form of biofeedback that works in different ways. And this is one of the softest one of the softest therapies in this system. It is almost 100% virtual. At any time that you start getting too many alarms, too many problem reactions from the patient, go to this program because it's a very, very soft program, but yet very effective. It has a double prayer wheel in it, so there's more of the virtual activity in it. But this is very powerful, and you could add, you could click on different types of programs that you could pick, and then we have an unconscious choice here, meaning that we're going to let the patient. Right now, I have Rita hooked up to the system, by the way. And on the first page, I'm going to ask her for an unconscious choice. And she's chosen to reduce stress in the spine. We click on that. I clicked to stop. Okay. My mouse slipped. Okay, we'll click stress in the spine. I can pull the panel down so that we can see that, and it doesn't keep playing. What happened, Laventa? It's supposed to try stressing the nerves. It's supposed to keep playing as long as you, that's something that's got to be fixed. These are all programs that are supposed to keep playing, but obviously, did we set, is there a timer we need to set?
No, this is an AFE therapy. You can.
It's an AFE therapy. It's just supposed to turn on and run until I say, until I say stop.
This can actually also run overnight. This can be left alone.
But right now, it quits after the first time. Oh, Laventa's got to fix the loop. Okay, well, I'll just lecture about this, about some of the history of some of these buttons, and then I will make sure that he fixes this loop tomorrow. It's a simple fix. This is an addiction release. And you see when you click on it, what the computer has found for our patient will be added to the bottom. Little things that the computer has found while we've been working, while we've been doing the test, will be added to the bottom. I can click reset to erase those. And then I can body to soul connection. This is to help the body and the soul to connect. Chronic fatigue syndrome, help release chronic fatigue. People are always tired. The bowel flora balance. Remote viewing. This is to facilitate remote viewing so that you would be able to imagine someplace. The history of remote viewing, and I've done a whole training tape on this that you can get from us. And it goes back ages and ages where people found that they could meditate and go to somebody's house or someplace on the planet in a meditative state and see things. Well, Targ and Plutarch were two researchers that really studied this phenomena. And lo and behold, this was proven real. Now, when you go to the place that you're trying to look at, when you go to your friend's house or whatever, you don't see things 100%. But when the people checked this out statistically, they found that shapes and feelings and objects could be transmitted. And the more you practice this, the better you get. This was covered in a movie George Clooney did, Staring at Goats.
Yeah.
The people who stared at goats. So this is a remote viewing 1 and a remote viewing 2. And this will help you facilitate. We talked about last week, we talked about how we could stop or limit people from seeing us. Remember that with the inside the test formula, where we could block people from remote viewing us. This is to facilitate your remote viewing of somebody else. And it's a shame that we don't have that locked on. He's forgot the loop, or maybe I didn't. Maybe there's a new button in there. I'm not kidding. No, that can't be.
So that's quite useful for a practitioner to use that.
And
this release spiritual attack or oppression.
And it can also protect your home and your etheric space, your aura, and your psychic zone.
And this is the one that's used the most to release spiritual oppression. This is to help send back evil energy back to its source, away from you. Stabilize the heart. This stop. This is when you can click here to stop once it's running. Okay. And treat excess meridians, heat, meridian cold, dryness for acupuncturists, tune brain function. Let's try the second pull down. Oh, well, we closed that whole program. I hit the wrong button. Go back to this. And let's see what Rita reacts to in the second column. Unconscious choice. She's picked somopsychic disease, her body affecting the mind, which is obviously happening right now because her body is definitely affecting the entire system, affecting the mind. And it still goes off. Okay. It should be, I will definitely fix that. Let me tell you about some of the history of some of these other ones. The aggression release, that was something I developed years ago because we had a lot of people that came in and had extreme aggression that needed to be released.
But that can be also liver related.
Yes, but it can help release the aggression. And that's been proven to work. Bad behavior in children, I've never seen it fail. You get children with bad behavior and put that on, and a lot of times they'll slip into sleep mode. I've never seen this fail. I'm sure that it has for other people, but every time I've used it, it's worked. Balance the conscious. Let's try to see what it looks like.
That is body and mind balance and harmony.
Balance, unconscious, and the conscious. Muscle relaxation. Connection to the universe. Math skills. Hypnosis or dehypnosis. We talked about that. Relax the mind, release deep potential. Phobias, negativity, reprogram karma.
And you also find the reverse psychic attacks here in the relaxation. Right there. Yeah, reverse.
This is another one, reverse, to release deep potential, release psychic pain, and reverse psychic attacks. And this is another one that this is specifically designed to send evil back to its source. So a lot of times people who are feeling attacked psychically, this button.
And this is something which you can play all night or also in subspace.
This button, release spiritual attack or repression.
This is one of the most powerful programs.
So it's very powerful. And we use this a lot. We get a lot of people who are attacking us, and we set this up. Release phobias.
That can also help you to deal with your anxiety, release bad feelings, bad emotions.
Sky method, what do you have here? Oh, yeah. Innate intelligence, unconscious interaction. Oh, that sets up the therapies on this side here. Or maybe we turn the loop.
And here downstairs at the bottom you can see reactions of the patient, what can later appear in the risk panel or also in the NLP or in the emotion panel. Everything what comes downstairs. And you can save them to the patient, and then later you can actually scan it in also into the Homotalks or save it for the current day under the name of the patient. So next time you can actually compare were there any improvements or has the patient gotten worse or better. To save it to the report is a good idea always.
This make therapy stronger will increase the subspace factors every time you click on that button.
And if somebody lately connected to us, we are working in the biofeedback systemic relaxation panel.
You see how it increases by 10 times, 20 times. That increases the subspace.
And this program also can be run after the calibration. You don't have to run the test fully to use this panel.
I have no scientific evidence that tells me that make the therapy stronger by increasing the subspace works. I'm still waiting for somebody to really test this out. I haven't had the time, but I put that in there because somebody requested it. You see, now it's 30 times stronger. I did that for somebody who had requested that from me. But I have no evidence that it really works, but I can't say that it doesn't. If you, these down here, all of these items that have been picked, I can add them to the piggyback with that button, the miscellaneous button. I can turn the video onto full screen. This water treatment is, if you click on this button and you put the water you put your water on the test tray. Okay.
You can energize your
You can
water.
energize the water. That's what that's made for. And there's a number 2 and a number 1 that will energize the water. There's an alarm response built in here still. You can disable the alarm detection with this button. I don't recommend it, but you can. If you're playing this overnight, you can disable the alarm detection. But the alarm detection sometimes is needed overnight, so I don't do that myself, but somebody asks for that. We had my ex-wife Ildiko. Her mother was in Romania, and her mother got very, very sick. Her mother was would eat fat on toast, pig fat, duck fat, very unhealthy diet, and she had cardiovascular problems. And the doctor one day called us and said that she's not going to survive the night. We got a call at 2 o'clock in the morning, and the doctor said, listen, she won't make it through the night. I put her on the cardiovascular program here for the heart. Stabilize the heart. I put this on. And that ran overnight. And I had it hooked up to the alarm detection, etc. And at about 5 o'clock in the morning, all of a sudden, the computer said, "Alleluia." It came out because I have that programmed in. And what happened is at 5 o'clock in the morning, when the computer had detected that, all of a sudden she got better. The doctor says it was a miracle. It was amazing. So great. Life went on. Another year went by. And we did it again. All of a sudden, the doctor called us up and said, no, this time she definitely isn't going to make it through the night. Her heart is so bad. I turned on the program, let her run overnight. At 6 o'clock in the morning, I got a hallelujah. And the doctor said, oh my God, it's a miracle. This happens like 4 or 5 times. And finally, I was running her almost completely on one computer, almost the entire time on Subspace for her heart. I was running either this program to stabilize heart, or I was running other things inside the SAR code page to stabilize heart. I was running these things all the time. I went to visit, and we came into the room, and there she was laying down with tubes coming out of her mouth. And she was about 5'6", not very tall, 5'4", and she weighed almost 200 kilos. She was huge. They tell me that for the last 2 or 3 years, she was unable to wipe her own bum. And it was kind of tragic. And I looked into her eyes and I saw that she was ready to pass. She couldn't speak because of the tubes coming out of her mouth. And I came home and we terminated. I turned off the system. I told Ildiko I'm going to do this. And I turned it off, and within an hour she passed. I think our little subspace tickle was able to help keep her alive. This is a very powerful program. We have lots of good stories that people will tell you about this. It's not 100% by far, but there is a lot of things that are happening here. Very subtle. But there's a time we all have to recognize we go too far. Here's a button for restoring the myelin, the myelinated sheath. I'm going to reset the target in the bottom. Here we have it, the eye program. This is a program for nearsightedness. have now a whole very exciting iridology program that I've been working on that I will be adding to this screen. So there's additional therapies that will be able to develop an entire ophthalmic program. You'll be able to test people's eyesight and then help correct them. So I'll be giving you that. This is still the older system. We'll see if Rita has a choice. Nearsightedness. Dehypnosis again. Under organ system, these are the therapies for the different organs of the body. Conscious choice. Rita has chosen prostate. Now this can happen where a woman can choose a male organ and a male can choose a female organ. That doesn't mean it's incorrect. It could mean that her meaningful other has prostate, which I've been having a little problems. Normally I take my tokmeg oil, pumpkin seed oil.
And you take
Tokmeg is Hungarian.
And you take that blue little flower.
And I take the blue flower, and I have no problems with my prostate, but I haven't taken it for the last 2 weeks. And I just was thinking this morning, as I was relieving myself, that I didn't have proper stream, and I probably have a little problem. I was thinking I should take my pumpkin seed oil and my blue flower. What's the name of that flower? Is it the iris flower?
It's just a little flower.
But it's a nice herb that helps with this. Now, could it be that Rita's picked this up since we are so close and sleep together? Could it be? Could it be that she's reacting for other reasons?
Yeah.
We don't have to do two. If you don't want to click that button, don't. But if you want to, it's okay. We're not going to hurt Rita by doing that therapy.
Oh, there's those cat fur.
But we're going to.
There's cat fur, look, on the left downstairs.
Oh, yeah, I see that. That keeps coming up.
But our cat don't have any fur.
Well, the cat has fur. Even though it's a Sphinx cat, there's still a little tiny bit of fur.
Not too much.
Not too much. Now she's picked large intestine. So we see the different organ systems. And this ear repair has a very harsh tone. I don't know if you could hear it, but there's a very, very harsh tone that some young children can react to. So you have to be careful. Don't let this play overnight if there's children in the room. Be careful with this ear repair because it has a very harsh tone. And people over the age of 35 won't hear it, but it will be heard by a child. And that could be very irritating. I don't think it could do any physical damage, but it could be very, very irritating. Bipolar depression. Here I have additional factors for additional organ systems. And Rita always wants to swim with the dolphins. It's something she's always talking about.
Yeah, I think we are.
The individual reaction evoked response testing. This is when the harness is attached. The harness is not attached right now. I'm doing Rita in subspace. So, and we get it rectified as we're doing things that it tells us if the numbers are 95 or above, that we're getting rectification. So I wanted to introduce you to all the little things that we have here. People have asked for different therapies. I've made them. You people in the audience might ask for a therapy that I can add to this. Corpus callosum is the bridge between the two brains. It helps left to right hemisphere talk. Autism, dyslexia repair. things. And this is the biofeedback page. And if you want to do something very low threatening, there's virtually no threat to this page. If you start getting too many alarm responses. I'm going to close the page down now. Any questions about this? Doesn't close. Trying to close, but I hear noise. It doesn't want to close. Bummer. That must be part of the problem with the lack of the loop. Preventa's got something on this page that's broke. No questions there, Jane?
No questions. When would you go into this? At what stage of the your assessment?
Well,
after risk factors, or
in order for this to be used properly, number one, you do calibration. Number two, like I've taught you before, you do the demographics, you do the calibration, you do the test, you do some type of therapy. Okay? Then you can come into this page and do this procedure. But the main use of this is if you start getting too many 1, 2, or 3 alarm responses, and you want to switch from something harsh to something electrical, and you want to do something very soft. Sometimes you're working with a patient and they've had an alarm response in the first 10 minutes. And you go, oh, and you test it, and it says alarm again. Well, so you don't have to send them home. So you can go to this page and continue working, because this is a very, very, very soft therapy. How do I close this out? Rita, what do I do now?
You just go to close on the top, or you go up.
No, I've tried it, don't close.
Then there is close next to the rectified 1996.
I tried that too.
Try.
Don't close. What happens when the program doesn't
then
work?
try to do load. Okay, and now close.
No, it's just it's broke.
Then stop. Okay, you have to say stop the therapy. Click here to stop.
What?
Test reactivity, and then click here to stop. Okay.
Oh, there we go. Excellent. Click here to stop.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
And now that I told you. Cancer. Bacteria causing many different kinds of conditions.
Yeah,
That
see,
can be
cancer is
like
high.
this.
And Rita's been showing some little bit of sensitivity. I have a dramatic cat allergy.
But we love
And our new Sphinx cat has very little hair, but it has some hair. But most of the cat allergy is not quite the fur. It actually comes from the cells in the mouth of the cat.
saliva.
And the cat licks itself, gives itself its own bath. So that saliva is what people are really sensitive to. And now that I have the cat, I like the cat. And I'm trying to deal with my cat allergy.
Grounding.
And I'm using my mind to desensitize, the cat allergy. But the major thing is I have to be very careful too. If I pet the cat, don't touch my eye, because if I get the cat dander into my eye will swell up. But if I take a hot bath, it'll rinse away. Okay, well, we're still kind of setting up some different things. What can I be telling you about now that what can I be telling you about? The prayer wheel. Oh, that's This is another form of the energize water button. Okay. Now you can do two things. You can energize the water from the test tray, or you can actually put the point probe into the water. And here you could, from your computer, you could put a headphone output. You can plug into the side, put a headphone output into the water, and this will send energy, 1 minute energy into the water. That sound that you hear is a collection of different frequencies that will go into the water to help force the water into a zeta effect. I don't know if you can hear me. I'll wait till the minute's up.
What sort of frequency is it?
That's a set of frequencies that are centering around 1,000 hertz.
Where did you click the
What does that do?
And that makes a sound. Now the sound itself can be helpful for water if you just have it near the speaker, but you actually can plug your headphones in, cut the wire, and have the two wires that would go to a speaker in the headphone directly go into the water. That will send that frequency into the water. And water is the hydrogen and the oxygen is a combined H2O, and there's two hydrogens and one oxygen, and they separate. They separate into a hydrogen ion and a hydroxyl ion, and the rate of separation is called the zeta effect.
Yeah.
And at the perfect zeta effect, which is around the 1,000 hertz mark, the water will act better biologically. So this is part of the patent that I made in America on for homeopathy, and I put it into the system. So you could run the actual electricity into water, which will then create the water will become wetter. The water will become more energetic because we're putting that specific collection of hertz into the water, and it does it for 1 minute. And most people tell me that it for a liter of water that it takes 3 minutes before it works. And this one does it from the point probe. And now you can put the point probe into the water.
And then what will you do? Will you drink the water throughout the day?
Well, you can drink the water, but it actually will make the water, it increases the ability of the water to make homeopathics. That's part of the procedure that we do. And Andras and I have found some really exciting new frequencies that help even more beyond this simple set of frequencies. Is the sound recorded there? No, not there. There's a sound recorder that would allow for backwards speech play. That's that must have fell out of the system. We'll have to see if I can restore that. That's an interesting lecture about backwards speech.
Mm-hmm.
Superconscious choice of therapies. If you have done you've done the demographics. You've done the calibration. You've done the test. You've done some therapies, and now you just kind of, what should I do? You don't know what to do. This is a button that kind of helps you. Okay? Here, these are therapies that Rita has now picked in the list of order.
Healthy
Cybernetic
baby.
loop therapies.
What's healthy baby?
I don't know. You picked a whole bunch of baby stuff here. I don't know if this continues to work. I have to. I'm meeting with QX World tomorrow to go over some of the new software.
Might be that I'm pregnant.
It could be that you're pregnant.
Whoa.
Because we're picking these things up.
They're picking baby.
Well, you're picking. You're unconscious picking these things.
Cool.
You click on that button to get rid of it. That was a super conscious choice of therapy.
Or it might also be that I would love to have a baby with you, and
Well, somehow or another, your unconscious is picking that. We don't know why.
yeah,
The orgone generator.
Fascinating.
This will turn on. This will allow you to get to this page. And let's finish today by talking about the orgone generator.
DJ always puts here some specific number combination. Is that needed, or inserting it?
Inside our system will choose the best orgone frequencies for itself. The time set and size. This is to set the size of the meter. So let's say I have a garden that is 30 meters. I can set that. Do I want it for biogrowth, universal awareness, spiritual harmony? I can only choose one of those at a time. I can choose interactive habits. The interaction means that it's going to gradually change in frequencies. And I could put a thought onto my orgone. I could type in something here that some message to be put into my orgone. The subspace will auto adjust, but if I just click on 7.85, which is very close to the Schumann field, but the Schumann field is not a precise number either. It's constantly changing. The Schumann field is basically a recording of how many lightning strikes there are around the globe. Every time, so if roughly lightning is striking the globe someplace roughly about 8 times a second. And that makes this frequency. Certain people found that the Schumann frequency of 8.58 is the best. You can disable it. And then there's the woodpecker, which is 10 hertz. Tesla found that the woodpecker frequency is a frequency that would take away people's desire for autonomy. It would kind of make them more dull. And the Russians had a great big woodpecker facility where they made this gigantic woodpecker projection that was taken down in 1995, I think. But it actually made a frequency that was detectable around the world.
Sure.
It was huge. There's a whole movie I made about the woodpecker frequency. So I don't recommend using that, but I put it in there for choice. You could send the pulse through the CPU, meaning from the computer, sending an extremely low frequency, ELF, extremely low frequency. We could send the pulse just to the harness. We could send the pulse to the point probe. We could send the pulse virtual. We could activate all of the above. We could set a timer on it in minutes. We can. I used to make it so that you could change the frequency, but it's not working here. You could set your own frequency, but I don't see any of the connectors. But this will help. You could use this to turn on your orgone field. And now the orgone field is being sent for the next 18 minutes.
And the orgone therapy can also work great with the crystal device. And,
now, our our little time crystal device makes an orgone field, a superior orgone field, superior to this one. So this is designed a long, long time ago. I built this a long, long time ago to make an orgone field from the computer processor. Okay. And now inside our little time crystal device, we have a superior one that's being built. It's a sustained scalar field that's being built by your time crystal. So this is kind of archaic. I just wanted to show it to you because the major use for this is that farmers have used this for their fields. They activate the orgone field, they click it on biogrowth, and so many farmers have showed me that they can have actually tested it to show that it works and it increases the yield of their field, and that's what most people use this for. Your time crystal device is not designed for fields. It's designed for the room that you're in. We don't know what the effect of the time crystal device has on fields. Nobody's had time. I haven't had time to really test it out to see what that would be, to be with or without, so we could get an idea of a double blind. Maybe it performs very well in the garden. We just don't know. Theoretically, it should. I just don't know the size of what that would have. Theoretically, since it's a scalar wave, it's not really bound by the same rules of normal waves of light and magnetism. The distance that you go away from the source is the square of the inverse. You get less and less power the further away you go. But scalar fields don't abide by that rule. Scalar fields hold their integrity for a much longer distance. So I don't know. We designed this device to help with our patients. We've been getting very good results, etc. But if you, there's a lot of people who bought our old QXCIs, and Rita and I still have a ton of them, and people use them for their gardens. They could hook this up, their old software, and run a virtual, run an orgone field into their garden from their computer.
Lovely.
So I've locked up for the next 18 minutes. I shouldn't have clicked on that.
Boy.
But Rita's got her tooth there, and we're going to call it a day again. And
no, absolutely. I think wonderful to have explained and expanded on these options. I don't know the people in the group, how many of you have spent time actually on this one.
Well, probably. There's a lot of these little buttons I'm going to show you that I don't know if anybody's even touching them. But,
no.
Yeah, but over the course of the next couple of months, I just want to cover all these little things and get it out there so that people have a reference to it.
I think it's fantastic, and thanks again and again and again. And the people that come in and the people that watch the recordings, we're just benefiting so much. And more importantly, we're raising the, the educational level out there on this software, because it is incredible. It is remarkable. I mean,
well,
and I'm sure any of the therapists.
I welcome your help, Jane, because then you take the pressure off me. I don't have to do the technical side. You do the recording. I have to do the talk.
And it's anyway. Look, Desi, it's a pleasure. It's such a gift that you've given the world, and you're training us. And I think any of the therapists listening in as well, I'm sure they have hundreds and hundreds of stories this device is spot on. Your quantum software is more than spot on. And you know, as a therapist too, it gives you a lot of you know, authenticity, but also, yeah, you're speaking from authenticity because you know that it's working, you know that it's going to work. And I mean, that's just the marvelous thing about this. And so it's good that we're having these training sessions and raising our educational level on this, because
and to answer Paulo's question, yes, that's all can be done in subspace. All of the biofeedback therapies can be done in subspace. You don't have to have the harness on. If the harness is on, you get a little tickle, but it's very, very light. Now, the last therapy was an orgone generator, and the orgone generator is magnetically happening in the CPU. I take over the central processing unit of the computer, and I convert that into an orgone generator. So it was actually coming from there. It transfers through the harness. It transfers into the room. It fills the room. It becomes part of the prayer wheel and part of the thing. So that's where that does. So when I say subspace, the orgone, I wouldn't call that subspace. It's more of it's a semi-electrical function. Nobody knows what to really call orgone. There's a viability to it. If everybody who looks into it finds something there, but it's not slapping us in the face. It's not like electricity. So, but very interesting. So I'm going to call it an evening, and write to me if you have questions, and I'll look forward to seeing people next week.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Rita.
Good
You're
night.
very welcome.
I'm just going to post the link that leads us directly to the landing page for the time crystal on the 365 website. So those of you who haven't been there, those of you who've been there and want to brush up on a little bit of training, you know, we've loaded a couple of the movies, a couple of my PowerPoints are on there, and just help you to also raise your educational level and understanding of this powerful time crystal device. And as I said in the beginning, what a powerful pack, you know, this quantum medicine software and the time crystal device. It's just really, really, really incredible. And thank you all for coming in and listening and always being there and you know, gaining as much as we can. And that's what it's about. You know, we want just keen people to come in and learn and just hear from the source. I think that's the most special thing about all of this. So thank you again. And yes, we'll see you next Wednesday. And I'll be posting the trainings now because I've sorted out the video cutter and everything. So I posted the first one. You see at the bottom of the right in the beginning of the chat. If you go to the beginning of the chat, you will see the first SOC training that Desi did with us. So keep it in a folder so that you have all your trainings there. Yeah, because this is gold to have training directly from the source and complimentary as well. So that's the first one, and then I'll do the second, third, and the fourth one today. All right. Thank you all. Have a good time. Ciao.